name Butterfly comes from when I was 7 years old and hiking in the mountains in Pennsylvania, and a butterfly landed on me and stayed on me for hours while I was hiking and became a part of my life ever since, including coming to me in visions and other things. And when I was in my teens going through one of the many intense things that many of us go through as teenagers, and I'm sitting there going, why me? I don't want this life. Can I put it back in for a refund, at least an exchange? And just feeling really hopeless. And this vision came to me of a butterfly bursting free of the cocoon. And as it did, this brown cocoon turned into a shimmering ribbon that unwound. And this prismatic, almost like a stained glass butterfly just came out of it. And this statement came to me: through life's trials and hardships, we arise beautiful and free. That it is only through the trials, the hardships, the struggles, that we become our highest self, that we become the beauty that is us, that we become the power that is us.
In the first grade, I thought I was white. I understood no difference between the blonde, pale girls in my class and myself. I would turn over my palms and see the lighter skin underneath, see the same on theirs. I didn't know I was different until they told me. "You're brown," they said. "You aren't like us." That was the first time I understood I was different from the people in school, the people in America. From then on, I identified as Filipino. Then, cultural appreciation days came. Everyone went all out, coming to school in their cultural dress, singing songs from their country, and bragging of their fluency in the native language. I didn't know anything like that from the Philippines. From then on, I no longer knew who I was. I was born in Manila, Philippines, and after a couple of years, my parents made the decision to bring me to America, where many other immigrant families hope to give their children a better life. They encouraged me to read, to explore, to be curious. My childhood was spent laughing, loving, and learning. Despite this, I always look back on the girl who would have been if we stayed in Manila. I yearned to be like her, to have hair that would have been curly from the humidity, to be so close to the culture I never had, whose experiences would have shaped her in ways mine never did, whose first language wouldn't have been English. I'm 16 years old now. I live in Sacramento, California, and am eternally grateful for the life my parents have given me, for the girl they have shaped me to be. As I look into the promise of my future, what matters now is that using the experiences I did have, I can explore the parts of me that are known, and understand who I really am and who I have always been.
Sacramento. I grew up close to you, 33 miles up Highway 50 in a small town. The place had been green hills for hundreds of years, and then became a sea of suburban homes in a week. As a kid, I listened to you on the radio. Your DJs promised concerts and dance parties, and I imagined you also had poets and writers, like I wanted to be. Once I got my driver's license, I drove straight to your art house movies and dance clubs, to the Beat for records and Java City for mochas, magical drinks that didn't exist back home. I was 17 and I loved you. I wanted to live in one of your colorful Victorians forever. After college, My friends moved to Los Angeles. I moved to Sacramento. I got my Victorian apartment, a coffee house job, and all the mochas I could drink. But everybody I met couldn't wait to leave this cow town. Nothing happens in Sacramento. I wanted others to see the things I loved, so I wrote them down in a zine I called Sacramento Is a Princess. I printed hundreds of copies, but I was shy, so I'd run up to people and drop one in their hands and scurry away. I got an internship at the Sacramento News and Review, and one day the editor called me into his office. A writer had pitched a story about a mysterious girl running around handing out papers about Sacramento. Had I heard anything about her? I admitted that she was me. The editor muttered something about killing the story, and I left, embarrassed about my hand-drawn creation in the hands of real reporters. A week later, the editor offered me a full-time job. I worked as a writer, telling Sacramento stories for the next 16 years. When you love something, sometimes, if you're lucky, it loves you back.
Right after their intermediate lesson the other day, they were returning to their classrooms, and here they are, arm in arm, singing down the hall. You know, the only thing I really recognized was that the tune was, to Brother John, but the Spanish, it was the language.
Yes, we have quite a number of children from different parts of the world coming here as newcomers, learning how to adapt themselves into this new environment and situation. First of all, find out if there is a language other than English spoken in the home. What we're really interested in is how many kids come from a home and they hear another language other than English.
It's good for children to learn a language, but also I know of a native-born of Hong Kong child who came here 2 years ago, and now seeing him in Chinese 3, picking up from where he left off when he was in Hong Kong, makes the program worthwhile. To see that we're allowing the children that come in from another country to excel and not be at a loss because they don't speak English.
Well, in the kindergarten classes, we have the 3 resource teachers working very closely with the kindergarten teachers. And the 3 languages are incorporated into their regular program.
One of the parents approached one of our team leaders, Lillian Angeles, and she said, you know, my son never spoke Spanish at home. He didn't want to have anything to do with it, but now because of the program, the bilingual program, he's very interested and he wants to learn the language.
As far as I know, I get some of the reactions from the parents. They said, you know, my kids really pick up a lot of the Chinese, and they're learning their cultures so that they won't forget what they are.
Well, I was on the phone yesterday talking to a Japanese parent, happened to be a father, and he wanted me to especially realize that he did want us to use the latest instructional techniques, and I assured him that we do have learning centers. I don't know if he understood what I meant by that, but flashcards, games, and all the other things. I mean, they learning very interesting.
The teacher is able to understand the difficulties in learning to speak English and to see the difficulties and the different sounds, the tones required to speak Chinese as opposed to English. And I think this is an insight that many of us maybe haven't stopped to really analyze how it affects the speaking of English of a child.
They're very cooperative. In fact, they come in and talk to me. And, you know, why can we do this and that together with my regular class and your language class? You use your own language, we use the English.
Being in a multilingual school, children, staff, and teachers, and resource teachers, and I think whole school is gaining so much of experience of trying to understand the language and I guess a personal feeling of their own culture. I think it's coming out little by little.
As we watch the children, you see the pride and, well, among the children of their own language. And they are not, well, not at all ashamed of speaking their own language.
One little Chinese girl came running up to me and said, "Are you Chinese?" And I said, "Yes." She said, and then she smiled and says, "Josen Hao Jiang, Pa Hao Jiang," which she learned in a Chinese one class. So it says, "Good morning, Principal Pei." So all these little things are coming, and people would ask me, you know, how's the program going? And I would say, well, you are talking about the kids and the way you... Well, I said, you better come and watch them, because this is the main thing.
Since the program started in September, you've come a long way in these 3 months.
Now we have to work on the hard data to back us up that this is a good thing that we have going here.